Welcome to Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team. This place is just absolutely fantastic. We have some amazing interviews coming for you very, very shortly. How are you feeling, Giles?
I'm buzzed. I'm really excited. This is one of the best ones we've done so far, so stick with us because it's all to come. We are back at Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team for more Formula Student Online, and we're with someone who is just fantastic by all reaches of the imagination. We've got Amy. Amy, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, so I'm Amy. I've just turned 26, which is scary because uni was a few years ago now. And since uni, I've done quite a range of things in quite a short time. Graduated in 2023. I worked at Mercedes F1 as my student placement, doing electronics. Then graduated, went back to Brackley, worked on yachts in the America's Cup with Ineos Britannia, which was amazing. Just completely different world out there. It's like F1, but on the water. It's crazy. Really, really cool stuff. And then about midway through that, I decided to start my own kart team, an all-female karting team, the only one in the UK, because I've raced karts since I was 8, and obviously there aren't many of us females, so I thought, why not give it a go? And it ended up taking over a bit more of my time than I thought, so I moved to McMurtry Automotive, where I could do 1 day less in the week, which enabled me to work more on the team and grow it further, so that's going really well.
Nice stuff. I mean, that's a lot to pack into 26 years.
Really, that is a lot. Can you talk us through some of those experiences that you've had?
So bioengineering is what I studied at uni, basically because I wasn't sure if I wanted to study medicine or engineering after my A-levels, which I also did here at Silverstone UTC. But yeah, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to be a doctor or an engineer, so I just kind of blended the two together. But luckily, it being multidisciplinary, it enabled me to kind of choose whatever direction I wanted to go in. So within my Formula Student team, I ended up doing a lot of electronics. So then applied for an electronics role at Mercedes and really enjoyed that. Ended on staying a bit longer than my year to work on the boats at the end of that. So it was 15 months actually because I worked through summer. And then they were like, yeah, do you want to come back in a year? So I did just that.
What were the boats like? Because like you were saying, it's an entirely different world to Formula Student, Formula One motorsport. It's almost like that, but on the water, which I imagine is a whole different kettle of fish, and that's not an intended pun, but I imagine that's quite different.
Yes and no, but because we were F1 engineers designing a boat, it actually kind of did look quite like an F1 car when you're inside the boat. I mean, these boats are humongous, and you climb inside them, which as an engineer is quite fun. And it's like, oh yeah, Amy, can you go and sort out this PCB, which is like, you have to go inside. There was 2 compartments, front and rear, and yeah, there's PCBs in these boxes which are watertight in case it goes overboard, which it thankfully didn't actually, the main race boat. But yeah, similar to an F1 car, to be honest. Like, I did a lot of stuff on wings when I was doing my placement, and packaging is similarly small, and in terms of electronics, we use the same harnessing styles. So yeah, quite similar, surprisingly.
So how much of what you learned in your time at Formula Student bled into what you were doing professionally? Because you had a fantastic time during Formula Student. I remember being really excited to see you behind the wheel because you were a fantastic driver. And you were with Sheffield, and I was so excited to see you rag it around. And then the BSPD decided to play up. So you've been on both ends. Like you've had great success, and you've had issues that you've learnt from, I imagine. So how does that bleed into the professional work that you've done on the electronics of F1 cars and yachts?
Yeah, so it is all actually quite similar. So Formula Student, it depends how you go for it. I mean, teams are different sizes, different approaches. There's obviously the different categories within Formula Student, but I did the same kind of things, like designing PCBs, which, yes, it failed in my final year, but thankfully that wasn't my board. But yeah, it's just that kind of team working element of Formula Student that you do need, and it carried on through into Mercedes. We split our team at Sheffield quite similarly to Mercedes do, and I imagine most F1 teams do as well. So that really helped prepare me for my placement and then further career.
So going back to your karting, because I'm a fan of kart. I'm not very good. I've only karted a few times, but it's really fun when I do it.
You're better than I am.
That's not difficult.
The bar's quite low.
I had to tell him to full throttle because he's just scared to full throttle.
Scared, hesitant, slightly different words, or is it? I'm just scared, aren't I? Yeah.
Even in a sim rig, he was only half throttling on a straight.
Sim rigs have
Good
forced
job.
feedback, and I don't want a broken wrist. I'm putting it out there.
Okay. So, back to our guest.
Yes.
So you set up AJ Racing, and it's all about inspiring and empowering girls and women to succeed in motorsport through karting. Talk to us about a little bit more about that, as well as why you wanted to do it. Like, what was the turning point for you that made you to be like, okay, yep, I'm starting a team?
Sure. So it was actually on a Christmas party when I was just talking about it with a colleague, a Mercedes colleague, and he used to race. Unfortunately, he broke both of his legs, and he was actually heading towards Formula 3. He's a bit older than me, but he was just like, yeah, why don't you do it? You're in the perfect position to do it. You've got that kind of mechanical know-how, and you're a driver yourself, so the girls will look up to you. You've ran karts for, when was that? I was 21 when we had that chat, so been doing karting for a fair few years. I was just like, yeah, why not? And also, I had started KZ2 karting that year, which was, so I'd raced long circuit karts, so at like Silverstone, Donington, Cadwell Park, with a completely different paddock, kind of just different drivers. They're mostly older drivers actually. And then I was like, okay, now I want to try short circuit shifter karts, which is KZ2. So they're mental. They go on a normal karting track, but you have 6 gears, go about 90 miles an hour. They feel quicker because everything's on a smaller track. So that was a great challenge. But going back to short circuit karting after like 5 years doing long circuit, I did just think nothing's changed here in the paddock. Like, it is still just male dominated teams everywhere, and it's really not welcoming at all. When I was 15 or 16, I started racing in Senior X30 with a team. Lovely team, but just men everywhere. And when you're a novice, that's not a nice place to be, especially when your mechanic's only like 2 or 3 years older than you. It's just a little bit awkward sometimes. So I was just like, if I'm an approachable female who's done this, been where they are, it will help. And it really has. Like, they just feel a lot more comfortable at the track. They all get on. We were at Shellington yesterday racing, and there was 5 of them all just having a great time while doing well on the track, and it was just really rewarding to see.
Do you still get really achy after a day of karting?
Yes, because
That never goes away.
Funnily enough, I've actually not done much karting myself this year because I've been so busy running other people's karts. But I did some one-to-one coaching last Wednesday at Wilton Mill, just down the road from here. And yes, Thursday I was quite achy, even in the wet as well, which is typically meant to be a bit easier. Wilton Mill's quite bumpy now and quite physical, but yeah, no, not at my top level form, unfortunately, because I'm driving my KZ2 on Thursday actually for the first time in a while, so that's very exciting.
Oh, well, good luck with that one.
What's the transition like from being a driver to being a team manager? I imagine there's a learning curve there, perhaps?
Yes and no, but I've always been like a bit of an organisation freak, so actually it's been very nice for me to be in control and be able to just make my decisions and be like, I'm going to do this thing like this thing like this, and yeah, it's nice being in control of like my livery, my team wear, and
It looks great.
thank you. Yes, Racing Pride looking good on here as well, which
Fantastic.
is always great. But yes, I've really enjoyed that challenge. Like, yes, sometimes I'm at the track and I was like, I would love to be on the track, but other times it's raining and I can't really bother getting my soaking wet wetsuit back on and going back out. So other times it's just great to watch them. I really look forward to seeing them all. When there's like 3 or 4 drivers in the same race, it's just actually really exciting to watch.
And are there any transferable skills from your time in Formula Student that you've found yourself using that you wouldn't have expected to in this role that you're in now?
Probably not that I wouldn't have expected to, but definitely the ones that when you're at Silverstone at Formula Student competition, you've got to frantically bleed brakes just before you've got to make a race, which was always us at Sheffield. I don't know why we had such a terrible braking system, but just that last minute kind of working under pressure environment that's really helped, because I have to be that calm one that everyone looks at, in terms of my drivers need to look at me for reassurance, my mechanics need to look at me for reassurance if they're like, are we going to sort this in time? So yes, it's definitely transferable from my time at Formula Student.
And you've made reference to the fact that on your sleeve you've got Racing Pride there. And during your time at Sheffield, you won the Racing Pride Aston Martin award. What were you doing at Sheffield that got you that award, and what advice would you have to other teams looking to replicate that?
Sure. So yeah, we won in my final year, so 2023. And actually so I was at uni for 5 years. One of them was away at Mercedes, but over the 5 years we improved so much, like in terms of inclusivity, D&I. Like when I started, we didn't really do anything at all. But then by the time I left, we used Discord to plan everything and have our meetings and our little subgroups. I can't even remember what they're called in Discord anymore. But we had an anonymous channel, which was managed by, we had 2 welfare officers, and that was actually really good because I didn't know about it, but there was a few people that led teams that were kind of, I don't know, not causing an upset, but there was some disagreements or whatever, and they were resolved because we were so open and we had these mechanisms to step in when it was needed. And yeah, having someone to go to when you're not quite feeling settled in, part of the team, is just so important. It used to just be a big drinking culture, to be honest, when I joined, and by the end of it we were going to play five-a-side football at our pitch on the uni campus, just as sober socials, and it just really made the team feel so much more like a team.
And this is the thing, it is about the team, and it's more than just, I want to go to Aston Martin, I want to win the prize, I want to get a tour of it, because there's far more to it than just, blasting your logo with the Pride colours and then saying, hey, look, I want to go to Aston Martin. There's actually a lot of work that goes into it, but it makes it a far more conducive environment to progress, because Sheffield have been a team to watch for the past number of years from the UK, so clearly it does work. How much of a difference does winning that award make to the team?
Well, I think, to be honest, when we won that, it was the turning point in terms of when we started to get numbers that were employed by Formula One teams. So at Red Bull now there is about 10. There are a few here, I think. Mercedes, there's loads as well. But it's just opening the freshers, like the first and second years' eyes to, oh yeah, if you work with us on this amazing team, these are the places that you can get to. So that factory, some of the first and second years that were on it, that factory tour was just eye-opening. This place is impressive, and it had only just opened then, so it was just, really inspiring to show. Well
worth all the teams doing that, absolutely, because not only does it look great on your team, but it sets you up for future employment, doesn't it?
Yep, 100%. Even if you decide not to go to through to engineering, I feel like that's just a valuable life skill, in general, the inclusivity.
Absolutely.
It made the team a better place, absolutely. I know other teams that aren't as happy and they're not friends now, but actually the friends that I still have from uni, I think, are all from Formula Student. My partner's from our Formula Student team. I used to live, he's the year below, but my housemate, when I was at Mercedes, and he was actually at Red Bull, which he's still at now, he was from Formula Student as well. So it's just, you have those amazing relationships if you've got a happy team. And we still go back there just before comp for the alumni car review. So always look forward to that, because that's just a lot of fun.
Okay, so just going back to your female karting team. I am a female sim racer. I'm not the best, but what pushed me to really do a lot better with it was the negative comments from mostly men, not really accepting the females in the sport and stuff like that, and to the point where I have forced myself and tortured myself to learn no line, which in all honesty kind of stemmed from karting, because I'm not being funny, you don't have a UI with karting, and I did make that joke the first time I karted. I was just like, where's the UI? But after that I was like, okay, I'll do no line. Whereas I've massively noticed the negative comments have drastically reduced, because they're like, oh, you're actually good at this game. I'm like, backhanded compliment, but thank you. So do you ever feel like you've had to prove yourself like in those environments?
Absolutely. Like starting the team was a bit daunting for that reason, even for myself, even though I could not show that because that's the whole point of the team. There was definitely times where I felt like an imposter. I know my drivers do. We always talk about imposter syndrome on the grid. A lot of them, so we've worked with a lot of novices, they're starting to all come off their novice plates now, and that imposter syndrome is still there. They're often like one of two girls on a grid of about 30 drivers, and yes, they do look around. They know, I mean, social media is tough now for that kind of age. They're about 14, most of them, and some of those boys might have said very horrible things to them too, like I'm sure what you experienced when you started sim racing. And it is scary to know that they're just sat a few karts away from you. But yeah, you just really have to be brave, push through it, and being a better driver will naturally decrease those comments. And actually, they're mostly just jealous, to be honest, because you're bringing the attention through different ways.
Yeah, there was one where someone came into my live stream and was just like, race me. He went, pick a track and I'll beat you. It was Silverstone. Guess who won?
Nice.
I never saw them again.
That was brave of them.
I was nervous, I'm going to be honest, but when I beat them, I was very happy. And that was when I still had assists on as well, like traction control still on. So I was just like,
Nice.
Yeah, just going to say all assists are off now.
Got to put it out there.
Yeah, and I full throttle.
Yeah, congratulations. But how much wrist damage have you sustained from sim racing?
2 injuries this year.
I rest my case. But why do you think that environment exists? Because previously, back in the day when there were no driver assist, and you're talking about those front engine cars of the 1950s, it was so physical that there may have been a case to talk about, like upper body strength and just like the different nature of physicality. But nowadays, with even the assists that are available in the Formula One cockpit, there is no case and no cause to my mind that there shouldn't be female drivers on the grid. So why do you think there is still that atmosphere, and how do we all go about changing? Because any of us involved in any aspect of motorsport, even like Formula Student being like that first rung on the ladder all the way up through to Formula One, we all play a part in ensuring that it's a diverse, equal and inclusive environment. How can we change that, especially from the point of view of encouraging more women onto the grid? Because there's nothing saying that they shouldn't be. I mean, even from an engineering point of view, it's all about your brain. Who cares about whatever else? As long as you've got the answers, it doesn't matter. So how do we go about improving that from your perspective?
To be honest, numbers. It is still a numbers game. Yes, there have been some groundbreaking research literally within the last 5 years to say scrap all that about power steering being needed to get girls in. Yes, maybe it's a bit harder to build that muscle mass, but you can do it. Like all these girls in F1 Academy are working so hard to do that, and they can do that. They are strong enough to drive a car without power steering, like in F1. But really, it is about numbers. I'm at the grassroots level, and the numbers aren't. They're better. They are improving, but it's not masses of improvement. It needs to be at least 50-50 to try and get, 1 or 2 girls in to make it fair. So as soon as you do see the first girl, I think I can't work out why you wouldn't see any more. And the people at the top, I don't think they're necessarily against it. Maybe there is a generation that are, but this generation are actually quite welcoming and inviting of it. At the circuit, at the kart track, all the dads, whether they even have a daughter at all or they just have a boy, they're quite supportive of all of the girls that run with our team. There are definitely few who I've heard comments from and the little go at on the grandstand, especially at Kim Bolton once. But yeah, I think people want it. It's just there's going to have to be one that does really well at F1 Academy or some other single-seater championship, and then they just put a really good name for themselves, climb the ranks, Formula 3, 2, and then 1. And I think there'll be more from then on.
Because it does feel like to me that as soon as one comes in, the floodgates will open. And do you think we'll see a female Formula 1 driver before the end of the decade?
What are we now?
2020. We're nearly 26.
I hope so, but hopefully 10 years, I would say. Like, there are now some talented drivers coming through, but it's been tough it started with W Series, really, this whole movement. There's now quite a lot of initiatives to get these girls in, but it's about bringing them all together. Like, I'm working with other initiatives like Girls on Track, and then also the Jamie Chadwick series. We're trying to kind of bridge those two with the owner driving element, because you need to do your arrive and drive karting, get good at that, and then you go into owner-driver karting, so the two-stroke karts, which I run, which are a bit quicker, and then it's more than equal, supporting you into your step into cars, which I've had some amazing talks with them too, and they're great. Their research is amazing. So I think if we all work together, then yes, I can't see why that pathway can't be complete and get someone up there.
And if someone's watching this and they think, I want to be part of your team, whether that's on track or off track, is that something you're open to, and how do they contact you if they wanted to get involved?
Absolutely. So yeah, our team operates in a few ways. So we do higher experience days. So if you've done, say, Club 100 or some other arrive and drive karting outside, preferably, because our karts are quite quick, you can just hire one of our karts today from like Micro Max, which is 8-year-olds, up to Senior Max. So yeah, just drop us a message on Instagram. We're also on Facebook and TikTok and all of that. We have a website too. But yeah, open to new drivers all the time. And then we also work with existing owner drivers who have their own karts. So help them, give them trackside support, coaching, and just that environment to thrive, really.
So you're coaching yourself?
Yes.
This brings me on to my next question. Could you coach someone who's as fast as a brick to potentially be a bit faster? So I'm setting a challenge here.
Yes, I could, definitely.
I bet you she could actually make me put my foot down.
Maybe. Can I also get in on this? Because I don't want you to go come faster than me.
I'd probably just put a cable tie on the pedal for you, to be honest.
I think that would be the way.
It's not the worst idea. I feel like there's a VT brewing here. I feel like if you set a lap time and then with Ami's coaching, I could match it.
Can I get a bit of Ami's coaching too?
I reckon so.
I'm faster than you, but that doesn't mean I'm quick.
I reckon.
And I'd love to be better.
Would you be down for collaboration with us for a VT at some point?
Okay, yes, I'll agree to that.
I feel like asking her on camera was a little bit.
I just had the thought in my head.
On the spot. That's fine. As long as you're definitely down with it. Yeah. This isn't a binding contract.
Okay, yeah, I've not signed anything yet.
No.
But
I mean, we've got video evidence, but hey ho.
She'll clock me over the head over this afterwards, it's fine. But so yeah, what are your Instagram and social media tags if people want to give you a follow or get in touch at all?
At AJ Racing Team. There are some dots and underscores in there, but I think it should come up, I hope.
We'll put it in the description.
Yes, perfect, thank you.
And don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it. So, final question. What tips would you give for a graduate to be successful? Very broad question, I know.
Yeah, that is broad, and I think there are lots of different ways that you can be successful depending on your personality, because confidence and I mean, there's so many different parts that make a person, isn't there? But for me, I think it was just keep your eyes open and look quite far ahead rather than getting buried into one thing, and just sticking that career and staying in it. Just because you've trained, you've done your years at uni, it doesn't mean that you have to do it for the rest of your life. So just keep your eyes up and be open to anything, which is what I did really, and didn't want to get stuck, and keep actively wanting to grow and improve myself as well.
And do a bit of everything.
Yes, probably a bit too much of everything, but
it's paid off.
Makes for incredible stories though.
True, yeah, it does.
When the autobiography comes out, do please send us a copy.
I don't think I've got time for that, to be honest. Not now, at least, but maybe in a few years.
In a few years, I look forward to reading it. That's like my Christmas reading. The Christmas 2030, I'll sit down after Christmas dinner and just read your autobiography. I really look forward to it because it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
So many great stories, so many achievements, and I can't imagine it's going to stop here. The sky feels like the limit. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for watching.
If you enjoyed this, don't forget there's plenty more where that came from. You can catch us here on Formula Student Online when we went to Williams, and of course when we also went to Mercedes High Performance Powertrain. So all of that content is around on our YouTube channel.
So don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified when we post, because you don't want to miss any of what we get up to. See you next time.